We'll be running 3 special reports on property, banking and how the government and regulators are handling bubble risk. First up, here's Michael Yander on all the little boxes.
A walk through Sydney's suburbs gives Lindsay David all the evidence he needs to declare Australia has a housing bubble.
This is a $1.38 million house that was sold at auction just a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see behind me, it's not a mansion, it's not a big house, it's a very old house that's probably destined to be knocked down and rebuilt on.
The former owners are retirees packing up to move to Queensland. They told us they got $300,000 above the reserve price. Our super fund, they joked. But it's the young family who bought this 65-year-old weatherboard house 45 minutes drive from the city that Lindsay David worries about.
It's a beautiful neighbourhood. I mean, it's a nice neighbourhood. It's not a Beverly Hills, but we are priced in at a Beverly Hills, which is quite...
Beverly Hills, California.
Beverly Hills, California, not Beverly Hills, Sydney.
It's a slight exaggeration, but for 1.7 million Aussie dollars, you can buy this just up the road from the movie stars. Anecdotes are one thing, but what do the numbers show? While Australian capital city home prices rose a solid 68% over the past 10 years, they rose a spectacular 125% in the decade before. Go back over the past 40 years or so, and Australia has seen stronger house price growth than anywhere else in the world except Norway. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the chief economist of Australia's biggest home lender doesn't think there's a bubble.
Very strong demand for housing. We're building more, but not at a fast enough rate to catch up with that demand. Throw in low interest rates and you've got a mix that just points to high house prices, and certainly that's what we've been seeing.
But Lindsay David doesn't buy the housing shortage argument.
The data tells us that since 1996, Australia has essentially built a new dwelling for every 1.9 new residents.
In fact, over the past decade, Australia's built more new homes than England, which has twice the population. But not all those homes are being built where they're needed. Property analyst Louis Christopher says it's no coincidence that the most undersupplied market, Sydney, is also the most expensive.
At this point in time, we think the market's about 25% overvalued, and if our forecasts come in for this year, it'll actually get up to about 40% overvalued.
So that's pretty serious levels of overvalue.
It is. It's probably about the second highest overvaluation point we've ever recorded.
But he says Sydney's the exception, not the rule.